This is the story of the legendary maniac Olog. Known for his big smile, his bitey teeth, and his friendly demeanor, the maniac garnered millions and millions of views. He lived in Middle-earth alongside Talion through many civil wars, pit fight tournaments, and rebellions. But all of this took a toll on the maniac. He wanted more, so he set off in search of an oasis, a new land where orcs and ologs could live peacefully despite their mental ailments. The land of Liflad, created by the ashes from the eruption at Mount Doom, home to the fire drakes and the giant sandworms. The maniac thought these lands to be perfect to build his new civilization, but there was a blight on these lands. An evil dictator had taken over, Olog the Conqueror.
No mercy! And for you, no!
A distant relative of Bagga the Stormbringer, a cruel and savage Uruk who recently traveled to Liflad, slayed Bagga the Stormbringer, and set this region under his domain. Talion knew that the maniac did not know this, so he went in pursuit. He couldn't let one of his best, most viral friendly boys fall to the cruelty of the Conqueror. But when he arrived in Liflad, he could not summon him.
I'm swine!
Always calling for your lads. What's the matter? Afraid of being alone?
You're not alone now.
Og, the quartermaster to Olog the Conqueror, clearly sent to investigate this new presence in Liflad. In comparison to what Talion has been through in the last 2 years, this orc was nothing. He was used to fighting waves of painless ologs, crazy maniac orcs, brilliant alchemists, undead necromancers, and raging scorpions. Compared to that, Og was nothing.
Oh, get hit!
Talion could have easily beheaded him, but he decided to send a message instead. Og may still have a role to play in this story.
You're a waste of my time!
Here it is, the great fortress of Liflad, built upon the erupted ashes of Mount Doom. And here is the mad tyrant conqueror, Olog, along with his band of hand-picked war chiefs. The Biter, the champion of Gorgoroth, the gluttonous, the broiler, the fanatical, and the legendary. Talion wasn't here for them, he was here for the maniac. He set off in search of him, trying to follow his aura, which led him to this outpost. After slaying the guards and searching the outpost, Talion watched and waited, all the way until nightfall.
Dim the flame, and we'll attract the ghouls. Such lovely creatures.
The Lord of Maggots caught his eye. He was doing a routine ghoul extermination. Not wanting to miss his chance, Talion swooped in. He desperately needed information, and he couldn't risk the Lord of Maggots succumbing to the many ghouls that were now emerging from their burrows.
Not the prey we were looking for. But I bet you screamed louder than any beast.
The ghouls were many in number, but they were kept at bay due to Talion's poison explosive, elven light. Thanks to his machine armor, it made quick work of these underminers. With those ghouls now gone, Talion could focus on the Lord of the Maggots. He was going to extract as much knowledge about this region and its overlords as possible. He also took this chance to shame down this orc, making his mind more susceptible to Talion's Nazgul powers. Set on making the Lord of Maggots Talion's guide, he followed him.
Keep an eye on our treasures, lads. And no filching, unless you want me to take your fingers.
I want no supplies, and we're getting them no matter what.
Talion swooped into action to help him, but he can't resist a good zipline. Ah, there's the orc that the Lord of Maggots is fighting. Judging by the helmet, you can tell that he's part of Olog the Conqueror's clan. Maybe he's on to the fact that Talion is trying to recruit the Lord of Maggots. Either way, he's got to go.
You made me live with this shame. That proves you're getting fond of torture, Ranger.
Talion engages in combat with the killer, while the Lord of Maggots burns on the side. He then turned his attention back to the Maggot Lord. He was proving to be very tough. But Talion is persistent.
Oh, the fun we'll have.
With his guide now secured, Talion needed to adjust to this new climate, this new region. He equipped his legendary outlaw weapons and armor. Now fully decked out, he could set his sights on finding the Maniac. Maggots informed him that there might be an orc that knows the whereabouts of the Maniac in the eastern part of the region. He said with a grin on his face that he could set up a meeting.
If anyone tries to get through here, you boys will have to stop them and rip their insides out.
Rip them to pieces and take control of that road.
Maggots arrived to the outpost with his band of grunts in tow, ready to face Grisha the Rash, a warmonger assassin orc with a severe fear of flies. It didn't take long for the two of them to wear down the Rash, but Talion could feel something stirring inside him. The Nazgul rage was taking over. He ended Rash's life with a swift back kick. As he stared over the crumpled corpse, the rage took over again. Thankfully, however, the Rash wasn't the orc they came here to find.
Today, you die on behalf of my blood brother. It's what he would have wanted, and it's what I want.
Grom the Fool, the blood brother to the Rash. Despite his name literally being the Fool, he does apparently hold information about the whereabouts of the Maniac. And that is enough for Talion to beat him within an inch of his life, before using his necromancer powers to peer into the Fool's mind. The Fool's mind spoke to Talion. It said that we'll never find him in time. We are all hunting him.
Mind crush!
Talion still had a rage deep inside. He took his anger out by killing all of these orcs. And then destroying this statue of Sauron. He then took it upon himself to attack every single captain in this region until he found the Maniac.
Yeah. Yummy! Your time in the light is over. I will kill you and offer you to the darkness. You will never open your eyes again.
Starting off with the Nightbringer. Talion hurdles himself at the fire. The fire doesn't go off, but the spiders still show up. Talion, feeling cruel, decided to let the spiders have their way with the Nightbringer, before finally putting him out of his misery. He wasn't done yet. Nearby, he could sense the presence of a recently made Maniac, the Fool. Losing his mind had only made him more bloodthirsty. Now he was turning his attention to the innocent ghouls captured. Talion decided to give these beasts a helping hand. He laid arrow after arrow into the Fool's skull. During this onslaught, the ghoul's den mother ran off on fire. Talion thought it was time to step in. He landed a fatal strike on the Fool, and he dropped to his knees. The tank class bonus death-defying. It lets the orc get a last burst of adrenaline right before the final blow. This would be a lifesaver for most Uruks, but not when Talion's involved. Together with the help of the Den Mother, they were able to weaken back down the fool. But sadly, before the ghoul could finish the job, the fool got a lucky strike on it. Enraged by this, Talion threw the fool from the highest peak he could find. Talion continued to hunt other orcs in the region that served Olog the Conqueror.
There he is! Don't even try to catch me!
Until finally... It was him, the maniac Olog. Talion's searching was finally over. Just look at that big smile. Excited to see the maniac after so long, Talion just completely ignored the other two orcs and jumped on down to say hello. And just look at that big smile. The maniac was ecstatic to see Talion after so long. But their chat would have to wait. There was two orcs that needed dealing with. And just when we had those two orcs beat, an Olog shows up.
Lots of orcs around, but my guess is none of them will touch you. He'll smash you to bits first.
But Deadwood arrived too late. I need to point out just how savage Deadwood is. The moment he starts fighting, he picks up his announcer orc and hurls him at Talion. This causes the other orc, Garl, to flee in terror.
The strategy is flawed! Fall back!
But no one escapes Nazgul Talion. As soon as we eliminate one captain, another one shows up.
Listen to the sound of my horn! It's the sound of impending doom! The sound of your death!
But he quickly succumbs to some elven light poison. Thanks to the outlaw equipment, this poison is even more effective. All that was left was for the maniac and Talion to work together to finish off the Deadwood. The maniac was just happy to be back killing again with Talion. After the fight, he explained exactly what he was doing here. He explained how he wanted to create a region where all of the damaged orcs could live in peace. Talion understands and agrees to help the maniac with the next stage of his plan.
I don't know when we'll meet again, but I'll be ready and you'll be steady.
Hurry! It's faster than it looks! Run, Phil! Let us not waste time! Yeah!